Vamos a ver si podemos continuar sin interrupciones. Sin más interrupciones que las del gato.
A machine stands in the corner. What?
A radio computer.
These machines sometimes harbor traps, he thinks.
We should leave. I doubt this place bears any connection to the case. A radio computer. No, I don't know.
This is the Reen prefect is the governmental. You see fluorescent play and the lieutenant says nothing. You see the machine's glowing frame reflected back from his diamond-shaped glasses. Behind the hatch, this is the machine's filament. Nothing happens. A bar of the static.
Good morning.
This is a human.
Yes, I am alive. I am 74.
She repeats passwords. Programming people are paranoid.
They're merely cautious. It's my job to protect their filaments as a password repeater at the East in...
Doesn't it get lonely? Sitting there all by herself.
Lonely?
That's why she does this.
Now, please tell me why you're... The filament you have inserted into the core. I don't know. That's what I'm asking. Is this the personal log? Good. Please.
Let's look around. There's no use trying to guess the answer.
I am contractually obliged to protect the privacy of the filament.
I'm afraid we are not doing that.
Now, can you please repeat the... No.
A hint system is not part of the protocol.
Received. Fortress accident. Is there anything else? The company on whose name the terminal your car... One Fortress accident.
That's not bad.
Any other questions? Goodbye.
The machine's keyboard is still... In white, silver, and apricot faience, the young mother of humanism stands above you. A crack runs across her body. She is impossibly tall, oval-faced and sad, a dark and radiant majesty. This is her innocence, Dolores Day. Cradled in her arms are a pair of glowing lungs, clearly visible from underneath her flowing dress. You should kneel. Your knees touch the floor. The floorboards are hard and cold. There you kneel among the snowdrifts, diffuse light falling on your hands from beyond the glass. The world is silent, but for the creaks and cracks of the massive wooden structure behind you. It covers you from the wind outside. The ocean feels distant, its ebb and flow blocked off by the centuries-old pinewood sarcophagus around you. The woman looks down at you kneeling. She towers among her followers, architects, laymen, courtiers. There is a sad smile on her lips and a glint in her green-blue eyes. She acknowledges the passing of someone who is still alive. You. As that soft word passes through your mind, the lieutenant draws an X-shaped cross from shoulder to shoulder. Your fingertips touch your chest 4 times. Then you rise from your knees into the apricot-colored light of the window. Above you, the woman still smiles her distant smile, sundered by the crack in the glass. Despite the damage you've done to yourself, the title appears lodged in your hippocampus. This is her innocence, Dolores Day, the innocence of humanism, internationalism, and the welfare state. Perhaps the most famous human being ever to have lived. No amount of Commodore Red can wipe her sad smile from your brain thing. It has survived the deluge and haunts you still, and will haunt you forever as it haunts all men. The highest category of historic individual, an embodiment of the world spirit. More, an innocence is elected to office by the founding party, a precedent that has taken place a mere 6 times in the entirety of history. The legal system of the Real Belt is built to accommodate an authentic rule should it coincide with our time. An innocence is infallible. The decisions made by one are not decisions. They are inevitabilities. What would have happened anyway? Only accelerated, packed into decades instead of centuries. An innocence is a continuous, compressed event, a sacred human being. It is an honor and a glory to live. No, we are alone. 300 years ago, in the wake of the discovery of this Isola, the Insulindian, by explorers from the continent of Muindi, she is, among other things, the innocence of inter-isolary travel and the connected world. Many things, you know she was a woman of the court, the wife of an influential Marchese, and eventually the principal advisor to Irene La Navigateur, Queen of Suresnes, modern-day Sir La Clé, also that she was gorgeous beyond beauty. Terribly, women of the court were expected to play both contract bridge and chess sufficiently well to prove an interesting challenge to a man. She made the most of her position in the antediluvian court, a court visited by the most prominent thinkers and artists of the day. In secret, she was becoming the era's preeminent philosopher of. She was an almost preternaturally magnetic and intelligent individual. To her contemporaries, she appeared out of time, a messenger from the future of the species. We all fell in love with her. It was on her advice that Irene La Navigateur sponsored a number of voyages into the Pale, a costly, often tragic endeavor, ultimately vindicated by the discovery of the new world. She was crowned 2 years after the first expedition returned, setting in motion what is widely considered the greatest era in history. The DeLorean era. Wow, indeed. When her innocence was declared, and the queen she had advised for years fell on her knees before her, she was so overcome with emotion that her lungs started glowing in her chest. Bystanders reported golden filaments lighting the already sunlit chamber around her, clearly visible beneath her dress. That is why the lungs are the symbol of love for the cultures of the Real Belt. As did we all, the lands of the Mesk and the Occident, and even far away Supramuindi, altogether 21 of the in a city called Advesperaskit in Vespa Messina, her homeland. The name of the city means evening comes, but it happened on a winter's. She was dressed in a white and pearl dress on an emptied out plaza with the crowd far away. Already her terriers, the secret servicemen of the Innocents, were worried about an assassination attempt. Oh yes, she looked like humanity's young mother, a perfect mother, insultingly beautiful. It was as if her face and shoulders and hands were covered in a soft down of underfeathers. You know, midwinter snow was beating the cobblestones around her. A small attaché of officials stood by as her terriers placed a white gold wreath on her head. The crowning was one of the men in this secret service killed her 22 years later. A young man who had come to suspect that Dolores Day was not entirely human, something that had walked in our midst, watching us stumble for hundreds, if not thousands of years, until it decided to interfere. Dolores Day was shot in the chest with a fowling piece 8 times. The man, thought to be insane, said he once touched her and her body had been unnaturally warm, like a furnace, and that sometimes, while on duty, he observed her forgetting. This inhuman quality was witnessed by many others as well, glowing lungs and all. It is commonly attributed to mass hysteria and religious psychology. Terrifying is a term too, although she is often considered to be the greatest human being to ever live. There was something ominous about Dolores Day, constantly surrounded by her terriers. She was the most socially secluded and least self-aware of all the innocences. Some modern thinkers would consider her a war criminal for the campaigns she waged against the Mesk state. And then the Mesk state tried to detach itself from Innocentic rule. Parts of the world were experiencing whiplash from accelerating into secularism. Her mandatory education programs and mass resettlement of upstream Marguerite were problematic as well. Dissenters were suppressed by a military force, suggesting those who fight against it are not part of humanity. She adored chess, yes, but also military war games. Dolores Day often holds a tiny tin soldier between her index finger and thumb in icons such as this. She was also blonde, the blondest woman you have ever seen, with green eyes the color of the Pacific, mare interregnum. Little is known of her Marchese husband. It's as if he vanished from history after completing his role, which was to introduce Dolores Day to court. In conclusion, yes, there is something lonely. This subtle terror is part of her iconography.
Lieutenant Yefrater, you've stood there for over 5 minutes. What are you thinking of, if I may ask? That she is. A great sacred piece. I wonder what we are doing here, however. In this church, I mean. The coast in general. We shouldn't linger. This isn't a good place to get lost in.
A jigsaw of broken shards falls into place in front of you. A ghostly reconstruction of the stained glass window. Before it was shattered, there was an older woman beneath the younger one, and a text, a light motif below them both. unknown. A motor carriage, a gunshot, someone falling into it, or maybe just hooligans looking for something to break. The escutcheon on her throne says, Irene the Navigator. She is depicted as an older woman wearing thick-rimmed eyeglasses, holding a golden rights apfel in one hand and a scepter in the other. This is the queen her innocence day advised. Above, she herself, small figures of wise men, common men, worshippers walk up the stairs to stand at her feet. Secret servicemen, 30 years, stand in a row guarding her. Below both women, in luminous black letters, Après la vie, mort. Après la mort, la vie de nouveau. And then along the left side, Après le monde, la gré. Après le gré, le monde de nouveau. After life, death. After death, life again. After the world, the pale. After the pale, the world again. This is the great leitmotif of humanism, a summary of the effect of the discovery of this isola, the Insulindian, on human thinking, a tremendous sea change akin to finding life after death.
Death, life again. After the world, the pale. After the pale, the world again. This exaltation is common in Dolorian sacralism. In the early years, it was even incorporated as the RCM slogan. No more. It was deemed subservient to use a strongly moral intern-related motto. We already suspected of bootlicking. The sentence was also seen as too feminine. It was a macho thing. Justice, union, prudence, and force. So do I.
The mother of humanism towers above you, a wax painting on a cracked pane of glass. Nothing has changed in her expression.
The old woman in the village was right. This must be the Dolorian Church of Humanity in Martinez, or the small Pinewood Church in some records. It's a minor landmark, not easy to find. Most maps misplace it. It was built not long after Ravachol's founding, 300 or so years ago, by first-generation settlers.
On the coast of an uninhabited archipelago where only animals had roamed before, in the wild reeds.
There used to be 7 stave churches on the coast. Les Setsa, they call them, the 7 sisters. Only one remains. The rest were burnt in the revolution or used for building materials. We should be respectful here, although the building appears to be deserted. I do not believe we'll find anything connected to the lynching here. Something else, perhaps?
Respectful? Is the lieutenant a follower of DeLoreanism? A pang of guilt? The lieutenant is leaving something out.
I have a theory, yes. There was a police raid a while back. I heard the place was shot to pieces. The old woman in the village was being tactful with us when she didn't mention it. She has more respect for the RCM than many around here. Well, your station was involved, I hear, although I can't be sure.
How come the lieutenant isn't sure? Is this confidential information?
3 precincts were involved in the raid, and people say Precinct 41 was one of them. I'm sorry, I'm not saying you were. It was a clandestine operation. I don't know anything about it, why it was conducted or who participated. I try not to pry into extra-district matters. Good luck. You will not get information on a confidential operation from your station secretary just by calling. If you really don't remember, it might be better to keep this one forgotten. It happened a while ago. It's unimportant to our business in Martinez now. Yes, we all are. Her name, body, and rule are synonymous with humanism. The laws we enforce are DeLorean in origin.
The woman looks by in silence, smiling enigmatically.
It's not spiritual, it's constitutional. The DeLorean system does not demand faith, only accordance.
The mother of humanism. Hey, her Innocence Dolores Day liked little figurines, right? Liked holding little men between her fingers, remember? You have the Headless Falcon Rider figurine. You should give it to her. Win her back. So very, very, very nifty. Nifty and mysterious. This is surely what the figurines are for. The silence in this part of the church, it's almost palpable. All the shifting matter. Maybe if you were to stand in just the right spot, even your footsteps would be completely silent. And then it's gone. Almost all of it. But for the faintest of hums, it seems the sound here is detached from its source somehow. If not blotted out, you can hardly hear your own breathing. Your voice is barely audible. Not you produce a few muffled thumps, after which the silence feels even more total, somehow. The lieutenant points to his ears and shakes his head. Then he leans closer.
Can you hear anything? I wonder why the church was built with such strange acoustics.
His detached tone conceals how uncomfortable he is. Maybe the church was designed this way to prevent boisterous activity, singing and dancing on its premises. He doesn't seem entirely convinced, though. The lieutenant points.
Can you hear anything? The church just has strange
His detached tone conceals. Maybe the church was designed this way. The lieutenant doesn't reply, but you can sense him tense up next to you. The orderly rows of ceiling panels become barely visible, then disappear completely in the darkness of the tower overhead. The silence, the darkness, they've enveloped you as in a cocoon. You cannot move anymore. It's like there's something moving up there. A shadow has emerged from the tower and it's making its way toward you through all the other shadows. It's not a shadow anymore, becoming more substantial as it gets closer. The shape of
el
an
hombre
animal
cangrejo.
descends.
Officer, is there something up there?
Oh no, you've lost sight of it. Weird, yes. The darkness makes the ceiling. You see something hanging from the rafters, looking straight at you with dark eyes. Maybe it's possible to talk to it. The shadow is a man made of the same stuff as the carpentry of the building. He is studying you into the crab man. The man leaned forward a little, fixing you with a steady, unreadable gaze.
Habitual alcohol use has made you into a scared little pussy, Holmes. But don't worry, everything's gonna be alright.
That accent is Villalobos, a peninsula in Mesque and a district in general. There's a sizable contingent of Villalobos-speaking Mesques in Rivershoal.
Here you can receive the mother's love. And when you're ready, she will take your hand and lift you out of the despair.
This man is obviously a habitual narcotics user. Do we really need to question him?
I'm put off by this religious stuff, he thinks. And maybe the ceiling climbing, too. It's all very hard to square with the lieutenant's own view of reality. Hey, and what was that about the bottle again? You haven't even drank that much lately. Lay off it already. Shish.
Está crudo, way. I see deep inside you. Your body and your spirit are suffering greatly from overindulgence, and you don't even know it. Not all of it. I was like you once. You don't know all the havoc El Vino is wrecking on your mind and your spirit.
You know, actually, since we're here, you may want to pay attention to what the ceiling climber is saying.
Don't trust me. Trust the mother. I'm only the messenger, Holmes. This is the Church of the Mother of Silence. You are welcome here.
You have no idea what the fuck he's talking about. Whatever it is, he's quite confident about it. Just look how gracefully he sways. 'Tis not an act, my liege. Save him perchance, he hath deceived his very self. This man is a zealot.
Never known myself to be a crab, but if that's the name you got for me, I won't stop you from using it. I always thought of myself more like a flame, flickering along the rafters and beams. It may be that I gotta work on my technique. I was in a gangway, but my memories of that time are fading.
Es mexicano,
of them
entonces,
already
¿no? Por lo
gone.
de güey.
That's not really the point, I say. You gotta
Ese.
give yourself over to service. Service of the mother, that is.
Do you remember your name, sir?
También por el catolicismo. El dolorenarismo suena mucho como algo católico, ¿no? Esta Dolores de ahí es prácticamente una virgen, ¿no? La describen como Taylor Swift, pero pues, es más bien como la Virgen María. Pues obviamente el más devoto de los devotos tiene que ser mexicano.
Tiago's my name, but those syllables don't mean much to me these days. A name isn't just your identity, but also your place amongst your fellows, your place in the world. I ain't got no use for such a place anymore. That's just the thing, Holmes. None of that matters. This is a special place. There's a perforation in the world up there. A way out into... I circled it, nurtured by the silence bestowed by the mother. One of these days, I'll be pure enough to go drink from it directly. No, no, no. There's a new god in town, and she can be painted or sculpted because she has no limb or even a face. She is a cavity in the dark beyond sense. She saved me, but I couldn't describe her to you. No one can, Holmes, and no one ever will. I will be incinerated, but not destroyed. Finally, I won with the state of the world before reality began.
That sounds a bit like substitution behavior, no? You know a thing or two about that.
I'm a seraph, Holmes. I sing the mother's glory. I ain't from no Marietti, if that's what you're thinking. And the song I sing is silent as the mother.
Marietti is a mesque style of music and dance, commonly seen at all manner of festivities,
Mariachi en México.
especially weddings. It's delightfully quaint, owing to its peasant origins.
¡Hey! Es mexicano. Me
He lost his
alegra
cool there for a moment.
encontrar un
Seems
paisano.
you hit some nerve.
Hard to say. I think I did some construction work here, back when I still had material worries. Up there, I realized what the true purpose of the... Been spending a lot of time here ever since. The past is nothing to me now, eh? It didn't belong to me.
Does it mean he witnessed the police raid?
I think they were. A long time ago. I had to shed them like skins to get close.
These shoes look pretty dapper, actually.
It's not like that at all, man. It's
Too gleeful, those words. He is lying. Not to you, to his very own self.
no worries, man. I know this shit takes time.
The sinewy figure lingers on the wooden beams, blending into the shadows.
Something like that.
Did you witness it?
Not really. Or at least I don't remember much of it anymore. The mother's love has done its job. That's what's so great about the mother. It lets you forget about everything. The ones in the tent outside, right? I see them. Guessing they're the ones who call me a crab. Probably scared of me. Why not? They wouldn't bother me none. I'm usually way up there, imbibing. Ain't no mute. Might even be nice to have some company.
He said that in spite of himself. He's more attached to the human than he'd like to think.
Other spooker? Oh, esa viejita es muy estudiosa. Don't know, Holmes.
Viejita is grandma?
Se refiere a la de la centralita, ¿no? Me imagino, pero a ver.
No, I just call her viejita because of her clothes. She's actually quite young. Or maybe not that young. Age is just one of the many masks we wear. That's what I said, Holmes. Don't really follow her comings and goings. Just see her typing on her computer now and then. We got different interests. I'm afraid not, Ese. You just have to wait until she comes back, or
search through her radio computer.
too many times, Ese. You need it for something.
Surveys are a good way to fish for personal information, especially in the name of public safety.
Don't sweat it, vato. The password is afterlife death. What you think of that? Makes me almost pity la niñita pequeña when I hear it. I think we're done here, Ese.
That was an interesting conversation. However, I'm still not sure how it's relevant to our investigation.
Tremble. The time is now. Ta'ola. Time for the show. For Ta'ola. The hallowed time of fear and disintegration. A countdown has begun. All will collapse on itself. The world will disappear into a Ulogu Theodos. Xeno Za Monday morning. The moment you arrived in this reality are the first crack. Yes, you spoke the words of the Palindropos and the houses of Pericarnassus. Items, people, even words will tumble. All will lose its meaning in the coming years. That is why you marked yourself. So you should be. The world island crumbles, perhaps. Just a thought. This has something to do with the hangover. It's totally also a coping mechanism.
Pues ya, ¿qué puede salir mal?
The face of the woman fractures. There will be herd killing.
Bueno, ahora sí tenemos la contraseña.
The machine's keyboard is still the speaker comes to life.
Good morning, what's good? Please repeat the password. Good. I have unlocked the filament. After ending the call, please press print to access. Fortress Accident, is there anything else I can do for you today? Goodbye, Fortress Accident.
The machine's keyboard is the printer prints out a long text document with dated paragraphs. It looks a bit like someone's journal. The first entry, made on the 4th of February, 51, by an arrived at the church. The door was boarded up, so I used the crowbar to get inside. Looks like the place has been deserted. Nothing out of the ordinary, but I'll ask around. Need to figure out how to get the electricity in. The lieutenant leans closer, scouring the printout over your shoulder. Just as you finish reading.
4th of February. That's over a month ago. Whoever set up those machines has been here for quite a while. Our case? No, I don't think so. It must be some local eccentric.
6th of February, 51. Had a little chat with the local fishermen. Said I shouldn't go near that place, that the church was spooky and ridden with narcotics. It's a little spooky, all right. See? Even one of the spookers themselves says it's unnerving. 7th of February, 51. Finally, got the electricity in. Next on the agenda, a new antenna. I'm thinking Esca series.
Why would anyone need any of this equipment here?
8th of February, 51. Bought the antenna. Had some problems setting it up. Called Simo for help. Heard the others are back to making art. Drinking somewhere out of town. Sulislav started a rock band again. Lexi has been seen asking money from strangers. But at least the artists have their act together. They're qualified labor. They can get work anywhere. Graphic design, ads. The programmers are doing fine too. I mean, they're programmers. The writers, though, they're fucked. I just have to find out what caused that data loss and be done with it. Still don't understand how it managed to wipe out the backup, when the backup wasn't even connected to the front. I know. Everyone thinks it's impossible.
Seems like something to do with radio computers. Unfortunately, I don't know enough about them to understand what the author is saying. Something about the backup data getting destroyed, and how everyone thought it was the author's fault. Let's just keep reading. Her friends? Colleagues? She must be quite educated if she knew how to set up all this machinery.
12th of February, 51. Brought some food from the grocery store. Apparently, there's a strike going on in the harbor. Definitely not happy to see the Martinez people again. Everything's now set up in the church. Going to start working tomorrow, 8 a.m.
The strike. We are nearing the date of the murder. Keep reading. I'm interested now. I want to know what's that radio anomaly that sent this person here in
Pues
the
no habrá
first
sido el
place.
muerto.
25th of February, 51. I've been sending data up to Lintel for a while now, trying to recreate the data loss, but nothing. Didn't even feel like logging in, the disappointment. But I did discover a curious audio-spatial anomaly at the back of the church.
Is she talking about?
28th of February, 51. Yes, the first recordings confirm that the swallow is real and I'm not just losing my mind. It's a pillar of silence with a diameter of approximately 3 meters. Seems like the higher I go, the less...
The pillar of silence. She is talking about the silence. Is she suggesting it's more than just an architectural quirk?
The lieutenant doesn't answer. He follows your gaze, studying the basins. The water shines in them. No ripples. March 51. Some kind of young disco men have appeared next to the church. I've been trying to record the silence to find the epicenter, but now it turns out I've also been capturing the future of dance music, one neo-disco song over and over again. Fortunately, the song is so monotonous, I was able to devise an algorithm to factor it out. The other day, one of the disco men came in. Before I could even say hello, she got scared and left. Good. That disco man must be a cell.
The girl on the ice? Sounds like her, yes.
March 51. A new 2-meter aux cable. Noodles, crackers, ping energy drinks, water, toothpaste, gum, also some canned air. Your reading is interrupted by the sound of the church door opening. A strange woman makes straight for the radio computer.
Breaking into my radio computer, I see.
Yes, you are breaking in, but not into her radio.
I do apologize for the intrusion, madame. We are with the RCM, you see.
There are no coalition military data links. And even if there was, you couldn't access them over a civilian network. No one asked you to do anything interesting with my radio computer. Now please give me some room. I need 2 seconds to see that you haven't destroyed anything.
We should talk to her after she has rebooted the machine.
What is it? No, you just printed out my personal log and wasted some paper. I am Soona Luukkanen-Kilde, the former lead programmer of Fortress Accident and RSA radios. I have over 16 years of programming experience, and I'm proficient in... If you're not here to hire me, I don't really know how I can help you.
Did she say over 16 years of experience? She must have started programming when she was still a teenager. That still doesn't answer what she's doing in an abandoned church.
Nope. Yes. And I don't care. I don't care about crap men.
Wow, she really doesn't. Not afraid, this one.
I brought them here. These are my machines. Please don't touch anything. I use the AR-1 as my RAIM prefix processing unit. Mm-hmm. Yes? You really don't know anything about radio computers, do you? All right. Well, all radio computers perform operations up on air. So in order to gain more processing power, you need to invest in a... On the front, the unified front of radio waves, licensed and controlled by Lintel in the East Insulindic region. It's all around us. That's what on air means.
Like love.
I guess it is. So far I've been quite satisfied with it. Martinez is an unstable region with bad coverage and the operation, but it's not the cheapest one on the market. So I wouldn't recommend it for your regular red tape operations. Fraser 1000 is anyway. You should do some research before you decide to buy anything. Ask around, compare the prices.
She liked telling me this. It calmed her nerves.
I'm working.
The machine seems almost alien with its pulsing core. The light casting her face in a strange shadow.
Could you just shh for a moment? Or get to the point. I really need to focus on something. So you do know something about computers. You're right. Prefect is used mostly by the government peeps. Because I needed something good for my investigation and RAIM Civic is widely agreed to be below all standards, so I had to upgrade. Besides, owning a RAIM prefect isn't such a big deal anymore.
No, actually, it is kind of a big deal. You don't see REAM prefects in every police department, for example.
I know a friend of a friend who used to freelance for the Coalition. I was actually aiming for the military-grade RAIM Rational series, but couldn't find one. Prefect is mainly based on the same technology as RAIM Civic, so it's kind of a rip-off. But it does have better compatibility with newer antenna models, so I won't complain. They are connected to my RAIM prefect. Whatever you do, just please don't move them, okay? Thanks.
Short and terse. There you have it. Whatever she's using them for, they're hers.
Great. You really like those questions, don't you? I'm conducting scientific research here. You can't throw me out. I'm looking for the location of a 2mm hole in the world.
Wait, what? She's looking for a disruption in the radio waves. That's what her personal... The lieutenant raises his brows, but doesn't say anything.
Yes, that's what led me here. But I suspect it might be something a bit more complicated than that. Exactly. What does it mean? Up to now, it has been impossible. What do you think it is? What qualities does nothing have? How do you measure something that does not exist?
Easy. You measure it by the world around it.
I don't know. Are we? That's what I'm trying to figure out here. But how do I figure it out? Exactly. Very true. That's what I've been aiming for. That's why I have those basins. I've tried using hydro transducers to record the silence. To find out where it begins.
Hydro transducers. So that's what those water basins are. Devices for recording sound through water.
But honestly, it's not progressing very well. Exactly. What do you...
Easy. You measure it by the world around it.
You measure it by its surroundings. By that which does exist. Which is what I've been trying to do. I've tried using hydro transducers to record the silence. To find out where it...
Hydro transducers. So that's what...
But honestly, it's not progressing very well. Somewhere underneath those roof beams, I assume.
Only a faint crisscross of rafters can be made out from the dark. Most of the tower disappearing into the...
There's this place at the back of the church. A place where all audible vibrations seem to decease. I've named it the Swallow. And the higher you go, the less you record.
The Pillar of Silence? Are you sure it's not just an architectural quirk?
Maybe, but it's oddly close to the physical coordinates of the data loss that led me to this place. I know. No, I don't.
She sounds mildly annoyed by this line of questioning. Her hands typing hundreds of commands into the machine.
Because it's just trial and error, trying to locate the Swallow, the exact point in space. And I don't have a... You know what? It would be really helpful if you could just stop talking and let me work. Great. Thanks. What? I hate it.
I bet she hasn't even heard it.
Yeah, like all the time. My tent neighbors don't really ease up with their partying. Dude, maybe I'd have to be on drugs to get it, but to a sober mind it just sounds like uninspired rug whipping. No idea what it has to do with either dancing or music. This is about those speed freaks in the tent, isn't it? I've got some news for you. It's not a nightclub they want to build here. Take a guess, why don't you? I can't believe they got you so easily. Go have another talk with those up-and-coming entrepreneurs, will you? Thanks.
Good luck. I'm not coming in there.
The swallow, you mean? What about it? Crepe? No? Yes. No, you're right. I'm not.
Tenemos que regresar a la tienda entonces.
Why does art inspire you so much? Excellent question. Art is a diverse range of visual, literary, auditory. In short, art is the highest form of human communication, representation. Have you looked in the mirror lately? To be honest, you have the exact features of the modern artist, with that wild hair and those clothes. Perhaps you should try to write poetry someday, and critique architecture. Yes, you seek substance. No vapid representations and reproductions of social mores as made manifest in stuffy biennials. We're talking real, living art here. Become the art cop. Half art critic, half cop. Exactly. It's not only your duty to only catch the criminals off the street. Go ahead and provide savage criticisms, art.
Hello again. Hello again.
So you had a talk with Andre, and now you want to discuss things with me? That's fine, man. But I've got to warn you, our signs are still off. It'll take some time for me to get my sigh on. A sticker? You mean the yellow one?
Interesting. He wants you to describe it, though he already knows what it looks like.
Oh, wow. Right on your cop ledger. You like it? You're right. It's the harbinger of a new era. What would you like to know? The dead guy smiling. He defeated history. We are living in the age of history, and in the eyes of history, we are always already dead. How can we ever smile the present moment and life? Or maybe he's not dead. Maybe he's just really ecstatic about the beats. It should be sold, but not by us. Simplicity was brought to us by classical soul artist modernism, but that was a tasteful. Well, hardcore is not tasteful or outwardly harmonious. It's a warning shot. This will be dangerous. The echo of man's loss haunting him. The sticker, the clothes, the music, same thing. Not alone. Many people are thinking the same thing right now. There's a gathering at the Elysium. The beat is the same for... Well, I guess one could write an entire... I'm doing what I...
It's not easy for him. He looks like a well-thought-out individual.
Nah. Still strongly out of sync. You heard me. Weird stuff. Specialised. There was a data processor and some sort of long-way wires going into water. Gives off a spy sign. Or some fucked-up Samaran science sign.
The People's Republic of Samara is a product of Revachel's sister revolution on the Grand Isola. It's known as a severely degenerated rogue.
Nothing's wrong with it. You should definitely be researched. You can still do sick shit with it. Most of it doesn't exist. But there's also stuff that isn't allowed to exist, because the moralists think it's too dangerous for the pleb. Psionic powers, pale-related diseases, pretenders pretending to be human, folk rights, that kind of stuff. The hardcore aesthetic is esoteric. It's not meant to be discussed with the law at this...
The young man with the tape recorder.
This is hardcore. It's hardcore! Skibberdee, skibber danger. Hi again. So, how are things going?
And? What happened? Oh man! Who is he? What did you think?
Really? Huh. Interesting. What's he doing in the church?
No matter. Is he gonna be a problem?
Yeah. Noid is right. Let's get back to the point.
These guys will never catch him. You will never catch him. There's nothing to do.
I don't know, man. Doesn't it feel like a major hindrance to you? A spooky guy climbing around when all the guests are trying to have nice, friendly hyper time?
I guess it's not a massive problem, now that I think of it.
Everyone is welcome to dance till the morning light! Yeah!
Maybe. I guess we'll figure something out. Okay, but what about the other spooker? The one in Grandma's clothes? Did you see her? programmer? That's odd. What was she like? Did you ask her about the nightclub? Come on, man. Who will you trust? The spooky programmer or us?
Feels the love! Get down it!
A half-hearted sell of something which does not seem worth buying.
You'll get there, believe me. Anyway, now that it's settled, how did she seem? I mean, disposition-wise. About
What a pity! That's my favourite thing in...
a shame. What can we do now? Do you see a way out of this jam and into a laser-lit future?
Unity! Dance!
And you can't just evict her?
Look at you! On a...
No, Noid. He's right. Maybe we've approached it the wrong way after all. I'm sure there's a workaround. We can make a deal not to bob. If that's okay with her, we only want to get in the church and spread the joy and ecstasy of music.
The lines in the dark exist!
At least Crabman seems like an advanced being.
Yeah, he can do his climbing thing in the tower. And the programmer, does she like Nordic dance music? Wonderful! If coexisting fails, you can always muscle her out, right? If it's all okay with you, what do you think? Excellent! Good luck, my friend. Goodbye, officer.
A ver si no logramos la acción aquí. La de la grabadora. Repetimos.
Hello again.
The device is cold to the touch. An angular Omicron logo adorns the yellow plastic cover. Underneath you see a reel of tape rolling. You put the
Vamos a intentarlo una vez más.
Hello again.
The device is still warm from her touch and heavy as a brick from the batteries inside. The company logo, Omicron, adorns its yellow plastic cover. Inside, the tape is rolling. The girl looks at the device in your hands. She looks you in the eye, her pupils wide, surrounded by a ridiculous amount of makeup. The wind howls. She remains silent. It's real. Tell her.
What is? Okay, I'll stick to it. So thanks, I guess, for the psych session. Maybe I can return it. What's been eating you, officer? Come on, I can tell. But, okay. Be a boyadero about it if you want to. What is it? Oh, really? So, the thing that's been eating you is the slow pace of social progress? Okay, so you're not that upset, it sounds like. Uh-huh. And you're sure it's social progress you're distressed about, and not, I don't know, some chick?
Bueno, también.
Okay. Why do you think that? Well, man, that's pretty symbolic, don't you think? Okay, what else? There you have it then, chick trouble. Not political after all. Who was she? Really? You seem to be pretty upset about this chica. Are you sure you don't remember any? Wow, man, that's some pretty strange shit. Are you sure the letters were for you?
Oh.
How come you don't remember though? Is it like some selective memory thing? Man, when I get hurt, I just want to forget that shit, you know? That kind of selective memory. Yeah. Or it might just be some psych bullshit, you know? Königstein wank. You know, the psych thing they've got going on there. Rich people like it. People in Königstein are mostly rich. You're welcome. Might be for the best to keep that shit forgotten though. Just my opinion. If it itches, don't scratch.
Yes, but it itches really, really bad.
Qué linda conversación. Bueno, no creo que la podamos convencer, pero creo que es parte de la tarea.
Yes, what is it? I don't want to make anything work. Yes, anything. I don't... Good.
Ver.
Easy. When her research is done, she can move out.
What? No, I don't really need any help with the project.
She thinks about it. A glassy look in her eyes. A gust of wind brings more snow in from the broken gallery.
All right. Bring me the game's offsite copy from my old workspace, if you really want to help. It's stored on a filament memory, and I'm unable to go and fetch it myself. It's a backup of my former employer's project, the radio game we were working on. It's stored on a filament memory, just like the one inside this radio computer.
She's making it extra simple for you.
The backup itself is destroyed now, but I'm hoping to use what's left of it to pinpoint the exact location of the anomaly. You just have to go to my old workspace and get the filament.
Hold on. If it's called an off-site copy, then why is it still on site?
Oh god, not this again. It is not on site. It is in the basement. Perfectly...
Basement? Sounds like it's technically still on site.
And no, taking it outside the building wouldn't have protected it from the data loss. There's nothing wrong with keeping the backup in the basement. What happened was a freak accident that has nothing to do with how the backup... We clear?
This is clearly a painful topic for her. She must have had to explain herself numerous times.
On Rue de Saint-Ghislain, in the East Delta Commerce Center. You might be more familiar with the name Doomed Commercial Area. You could get in through the bookshop on the plaza. You just have to do some explaining to the bookstore lady.
Tenemos que entrar al sótano donde está el... De veras, el refrigerador. Debe estar podrido el abracado.
That's her name, I believe. There's this giant ice bear fridge in the building's cellar. It's there. Don't worry, you can't miss the bear. It's hideous. The bookstore lady hates me. Says I'm part of the curse, whatever that means. Of course not. Anyway, I don't have my keys anymore and she won't let me in. Because she's from Martinez, and people from Martinez have never ever seen a radio computer. She thinks it emits elemental evil.
Prácticamente dice creencias de gente pendeja.
Yes, but she literally started praying for the higher powers when she first saw my lame Civic. I'm not...
The lieutenant coughs like he's amused.
Once I came in one morning, only to find that my terminal was full of those strange trinkets and amulets. Wards. So what I need you to do here is go have a talk with her, say that you're a policeman and need to get to the building's basement.
Bueno, ya lo
Then bring me
intentamos.
the offside copy. Alright? Thanks. And here's my Qualsund multi-tool. You might need it to hack loose some ice. It opens everything. If you get me...
It hurts a bit for her to say this. She's not too happy to be parting with the Kvalsund.
Yes? Thanks.
Ah, la verga. Pensé que era del tamaño de un encendedor o algo así. A ver. Creo que tenemos que imponer autoridad. Somos policías. Estamos muy empáticos. Ey, creo que tenemos que comprar un libro, ¿no? Ah, para hacer el viaje rápido tenemos que salir. ¡Hey! Hay alguien ahí.
That's one brutal motor carriage.
If I were a real skull now, I'd jack it, paint it in palm tree livery, then bottom light it, neon style.
A snazzy shit-ripped skullmobile like this would make a fine trophy. We could, like, hang fucking shrunken heads from the side mirrors.
Yeah, tribal shit. A cop carriage like this would have proper...
While I appreciate the interest you take in my brutal motor carriage, I have to stop you right there. The RCM takes threats directed at its property seriously.
It's just theoretical work, Copper. No basis in reality. Man, if we were certified skulls right now...
Skulls. Now there's a strong organizational title.
I can tell you who we're not, cop. We're not snitches or skulls.
Which is not to say that the skulls are bitches and... On the contrary.
The part of this presentation you want to take home with you, cop man.
Okay then, let's indulge in some intellectual exchange.
You don't know? What kind of cop are you?
It's not a question. Don't get into it.
The Skulls are the most vicious gang of the Besmertne.
Besmatine, or the Besmati, the Immortals, are West Rivasholian crime.
The nastiest bunch of psychos ever. Jack encourages
Possessing an infinite amount of fuck-all swagger, infamous for their non-verbal modus operandi.
If a skull spots you, he will pull out his dagger and stab you without saying a word.
The lieutenant's voice is as calm as usual, a testament to the violence and death he's witnessed through the sight of his...
They usually occupy the burnt-out quarter in Jamrock, or you can find them loitering around their brightly painted bottom-lighted vehicles.
I can't wait to become a skull. Bottom lights are wretched aggressive.
Murder?
Yeah, sure. We'll gladly tell you everything we know about it.
Also, he was hanged. He was hanged from a tree.
Yeah, I mean...
These punks don't know anything.
Hey! Stop right there!
Ah, this sounds like epistemology, a field so occupied by thought that it begins to question thought itself.
Exactly. How can one know shit? For example...
What if it's art?
Maybe it's true. The hanged man is merely a prop in a performance. We are the audience, and the artist is hiding somewhere in the dark.
So what do you think we know? Oh yeah, Cindy's a right proper skull.
Yeah, a true artist of the future. Just like Arno van Eyck.
By the way, if you see Cindy, give her our regards.
For all their nihilistic posturing, these young men are not lacking. The lieutenant on your left is unusually lenient toward them.
The Union does their share of policing in Martinez, at least where gangs are concerned. That's why there isn't much organized crime around here.
Apart from the unions themselves, of course.
Don't you worry about that. We're gonna make up for the deficit.
Yeah, we are.
Oh man, yeah. We're not fucking kids, man.
Be wary of the abyss.
Probably because of how non-verbal their mode of operation is going to be. It's a threat. But I don't. In fact, I dislike them so much I'm willing to drag you boys back to the station just to calm myself.
Hey, there's no need for that. We're just talking here. Joking too. Stay light, man.
Yeah. Didn't you cops, like, have some questions about skulls or some shit? We're not franchise skulls. Well, not yet. Once we get our name out there, we'll have a chance to join them. Because we can be just as psycho and vicious.
But in a non-threatening and definitely legal way.
We'll fuck the system from the inside later. Just be cool now. The damage will be...
Right on, fuck. So what's happening now? Mm-hmm. What about them? Well, first off, it's a statement and not necessarily something that characterizes me as a person, even though the statement has character. And I do like piss. The word piss epitomizes the struggle taking place in the world. Things being defined as they seem, not as they are. And, I guess, also, you've got to admit, it catches the eye. And since the Grand Piper is slowly but steadily moving towards basing the economy on it, attention, it is imperative that the medium itself convey the message. What I mean by this is, we are all pissed. and that the world is...
It seems that the young man has a certain expertise in at least one field.
Like I said before, many men keep searching for the one, for so-called true love, which...
I'm wondering if the poetics come with the jacket, or are they derived from something else?
To catch a fish, you'll need to hurl the lure many times, and even then it isn't certain that you'll get anything. If you blow up the lake, though, you get more fish in a shorter time. And for time is of the essence, because when one fucks everything...
Hate to admit it, but in a weird way, is it a coincidence that here we have 2 badass jackets and 2 badass cops?
Yes? Leather jackets adorned with immature writing? The ideology they convey helps the boys justify poor choices in life and fashion. I'm not a fan. What are you implying? I'm not sure I understand you, detective. Neither. Fine, if only to end this discussion. Theoretically, if I were a juvenile delinquent, if I were to already be down that path, I think peace is the stronger of the 2 statements.
Es bueno saber.
Seems about right, especially considering your heroic exit attempts.
That's an origin story for a dynamic duo right there.
So are we done here? Or... you don't need us around for your secret whisper party, do you?
A ver,
That ride is
podemos...
fucking...
Hey, piss...
A ver si podemos aumentar el instinto. Primero vamos a quitar cosas que nos... ¿Pero qué es el instinto? Tenemos 3. A ver si con esto basta.
That ride is fucking...
Hey, piss... Look who it is. Shrunken cophead material.
No,
Bien.
no, no. Don't ask anything. Be subtle and scary. The boys dream about being skulls. Use that. Suggest they're massive skulls. Come on.
What? No. Skulls don't have kings. I think.
Yeah, man, keep your voice down. Skulls don't take it lightly when folks pretend to be them.
Prospect must be a hierarchical term. Probably in the lower.
Wow, you boys are ambitious. Only prospects and already planning a coup in the skulls. You're destined to go far.
He gets it. Passive-aggressive flattery.
Shut the fuck up. Are you trying to get us killed?
Now bring it to the jackets and, yes, start shouting.
Please be quiet. What? What do you want? The jackets?
Fuck you, man. Take them then. Oh, man. Okay. I get it. Skulls don't really wear slogans anyway. This was stupid.
Ah, pobres tipos, pero... Qué chido.
The lieutenant watches the boys take their jackets off with mild amusement.
I'm absolutely okay with not having either one, thank you. This case doesn't require us to go undercover or raise hell. In fact, I don't think the jacket will be useful at all.
Cold-hearted cop.
Do. I'm fine with that.
The jackets are meant to complete each other. If a man was standing alone on a street corner with his written on his back, it'd just be an individual that has taken a liking to urine and fuck the world all on its own.
I don't know, Eric. It's cold out.
Yeah, let's get out of here. The cops fucked us.
Esto me ha causado más satisfacción que toda la información de la iglesia. A ver, a ver.
You finally made it, haven't you? People point fingers at you and whisper to each other when you pass by. Where did that man get such a cool jacket? Did he receive it upon graduating the École Normale Supérieure de Badasserie? Is he dangerous? You are very dangerous, my friend. Dangerous and cool. In fact, no one dares to say
Ella es el fumador. Ah, no. A ver, creo que nos alcanza para el libro.
The display rack is brimming with worn paperbacks featuring an extremely muscular, sword-wielding barbarian.
Oh yes, certainly. Another good sale. It is a bestseller for a reason. Hello again, esteemed officer, and welcome to Crime Red. Goodness, you were already doing good, browsing the shelf.
She smiles and nods, seemingly.
Hi, Ace Detective.
A small mountain of colourful board game boxes.
Wonderful board games, sir. The Viticulturist is a classic for sure, or perhaps you'd like Archipelagos of Insulinda. A Braubritter is a fun game of economic competition, but can get quite intense after a while. We have games for the whole family. You can play with your children. Don't be so hard on yourself, sir. You just need to clean up a bit. And technically, friends are a bit like family. For playing with friends, I'd recommend Suzerainty. It's a civilization building game where you build a civilization, then set off to brutally colonize and repress other civilizations. It'll cost 12 real. Lousy auras there. No, role-playing games are popular among those types. You know, who are into those kind of things. Personally, I don't like it. Not at all.
Eso fue personal.
I've heard they turn people into occult enthusiasts.
An endless variety of source books, lore books, and codices litter the table. There's also a large hardbound tome with intricate cover art, The Hunters of Katawak, Boreal Creature Compendium, and books in a board game section. Who wants to read books? There's a box that says Wirral, 3rd edition Mega Setting Supplements Module. The side panel notes, a fantastique adventure board game, new maps and miniatures. That price is steep, but then it's the 3rd edition Mega Setting Supplement. Nonsense for anemic Beano clods.
Luego venimos por él.
A heavy door with a missing handle stands before you, covered in dozens, if not hundreds, of Seminese trinkets and
A ver.
A heavy door with a missing handle stands before you, covered in dozens, if not hundreds, of Seminese trinkets and charms. It appears to be locked. You smash into the wood and see a small crack appear on the door frame. It's going to take one more try to break through to the other side, but you've done it.
You're not thinking of trying again, are you?
Ahí vamos. Cool.
What is this place? No, it's a gym. Though it looks like no one's been here in ages. I doubt the electricity still works. Good thing we have a flashlight on us. Don't forget to take it out of your...
Some specks of dust shimmer in a faint beam of daylight. An eerie feeling rises in your chest.
Yes, because it's closed. No need to look for supernatural explanations where a banal one will do. Now let's move on, shall we?
Aguafiestas. Ah, mi lámpara está aquí.
A barbell lies on the floor. The color has worn it's 60 kilograms. Your triceps hum at the sight of these weights. Show the world what kind of beast. There are no collars on the barbell. This is a safety hazard.
You're right. The weight may fall off. Better not touch it then. It would be a violation of EPIS safety regulations if the gym was still operating, but it isn't. No one's supposed to come here anymore.
Ya podemos comprar un juego, creo. ¿Qué es eso? Elementos de memoria, pero no, ¿verdad? Nos dijo que estaba en el refri en forma de oso.
A dusty radio computer sleeps on its wired frame, forgotten and unused. Its keyboard has a rectangular on-off button, a piece of paper.
Another radio computer. Just sitting here without anyone inside.
What he means is that these things cost money. Why would anyone just leave?
But we are looking for a fridge, and we are pressed for time, so...
On the other hand, it's not the time, not This is the Ream Civic radio computer, model RC5120.
It's your call. You're in charge of this expedition, officer.
Of course you should turn it on. Don't you want to know? The machine lights up like some prehistoric animal stirring from its slumber, revealing fluorescent play and print keys on the keyboard. The hatch on the machine's central compartment is wide open. It's empty like a bead. The filament you have would fit perfectly inside the compartment. Like a smooth draw, the filament slides into place. On the keyboard, the play key starts blinking. The speaker comes to life. Static seeps through the machine's planar magnetic driver. An old lady greets you, her voice.
Good afternoon. Fortress accident en rue de Saint-Ghislaine. Please repeat. Is this the production schedule? Good, thank you. Please repeat. Is this the production schedule? Good. Please repeat the password. Good. I've unlocked the production schedule.
Really? She just used the same password? Maybe those radio computer guys aren't that paranoid after all.
Fortress accident. Is there anything else I can do for... Thank you, and good...
Tiles on the cube are still smoldering. With a quiet determination, the printer starts printing, a piece of paper unfolding like a handheld fan. A black crisscross of letters covers its surface. It's a project report written by the lead producer, Andrew Andy Schott, about Wirral Untethered. The first few pages give an overview of the capital and workforce, while the rest of it seems to be a production schedule. In its short time of existence, Fortress Accident SCA managed to burn through the first tranche of seed financing, brought in 150. Eventually, the damage reached 400,000 real, with only half of the game finished. Let's just say it was a real adventure for their Igaunian investor. Fortress Accident employed 18 people, the bulk of the team composed of writers and concept artists. There were also radio programmers, sound engineers, a CEO, 2 marketing and a single overburdened producer who developed a habit of popping Pyrrolidon in the basement. Why did Fortress Accident have so many concept artists? It didn't. No, definitely not. A few more producers could have come in handy though, especially when dealing with writers, some of whom routinely skipped work because of mental health issues and extremely unprofessional sleep schedules. One of them even managed to steal some valuable company property before skipping town for good. The production schedule depicts their glorious descent into bankruptcy. Not the concept artists. It wasn't even the writers. With their panic, it was impossible not to fail. The project was too large and no amount of money could satiate. They tried to make a 4 million real game with 400,000 in their bank account. They thought they could bridge the gap with pure willpower, and they couldn't. No, you couldn't have. Definitely not. Not a chance. Even then, success remained within an ever-narrowing margin of possibility. That is, until they discovered the Valley of the Heads. At the 11th hour, the lead designer, Jimsk-born Sulisław Jalisa, decided that what Wirral Untethered needed was this place was to be the Valley of the Heads, where the heads of all the headless constructs could be found. The player would have been able to choose a head for their headless party member, and each head would have been voiced on air by a professional. So many. The last count, there were approximately 10,000 heads for 10,000 headless men, all of which could be, do you really want to know? There seems to be a calculation here, but it may take a while.
Vamos a quemar esta mierda. Oh, qué la... No!
The lieutenant taps his foot impatiently, his arm... What if you broke the radio computer? What if it's never going to stop? And that's it.
Ooh.
Well, yeah, that and the catastrophic data loss. On the nature of the data loss, there's ominously little information in the production log. It comes at the very end where things get fuzzy and dark, where tables and numbers seem to vanish into an eerie nothingness before the Egonian investors pulled the plug. What is clear is that one day an unidentified numeric anomaly occurred on the East Insulindian Lintel front, just as the Wirral Untethered project was being compiled. When the project was returned, it was completely. The team spent weeks on the phone with Lintel, the service provider, but despite their diagnostics, they could never produce a satisfactory explanation or pay for the loss. Always read the terms of, and let's face it, they didn't have any money left for a legal action. Mysteriously enough, it seems that the offsite copy happened to be onsite when the catastrophic data loss. It was the lead programmer's responsibility to oversee weekly maintenance of the offsite copy. S. Lukanen Kilda, the lead programmer of Fortress Accident. The offsite copy was onsite. I didn't have a home anymore, so I started keeping it in the basement in the ice bear refrigerator near where I went to sleep. It was perfectly safe there. The temperature conditions were optimal. Her former colleagues would agree with you. The production schedule ends with a few random notes that seem to be added 4 months later by an unknown author. I am the only one left, and it's gotten rather damp here. A few other businesses have gone under too. Slipstream still haven't got an answer from Lintel about what happened. All I could get were the physical coordinates of the error. On the east is I have compared the coordinates to a map of Revachol West. Turns out it's only 800 meters from here. Sandbrun 1147. That's what the street sign. Tiles on the cube are still smoldering, casting the framework in a soft glow. Fluorescent play and print keys shine on the keyboard. The speaker comes to life.
Good afternoon. Please repeat. Thank you.
Tiles on the cube are still. The filament slides out of its glowing nest. Your flashlight slides over an old green chalkboard covered in scribbles, sketches, and schemes. Like some of the writing has faded with age, but you can still make out sections here and there. These lithe, pointy-eared creatures appear to be different types of welkins. You make out autumnal candle welkins, translucent welkins, with one of the welkins towering among the rest. Appears to be different, however. It's Vara Hamira, a high welkin, his face white and scarred like cracked marble. This is clearly a Welkin supremacist. The Haldor, the Tworg, the humans, and even headless men, all of them purged. Imagine a world filled only with Welkin.
An inordinate amount of time has gone into drawing these little Welkin creatures. This looks like concept art for a project. Some people really like building a world, I think. Even if it's just for a game. Political commentary. That one has a great beard too. Just look at those details. So much effort.
The photo collage depicts barren, icy landscapes wrapped in perpetual night. Entire oceans have been frozen from shore to shore. You see primitive oil rigs built into glaciers, Boreal Dvorg. Albeit dark and cold, this vision also feels cozy in its own way. Like a pinned postcard reads, the heat death scenario, a desperate fight for geothermal energy engulfs the world as Wirral becomes untethered from it. This is a monthly calendar from the year 50. Cryptic words like sprint, daily minimi, and GPI span the marker-drawn grid. the grand scheme of production and money. It looks a bit like an academic calendar. Mini-Me stands for a mini-meeting. It's part of a bigger framework for managing work called RUN. Station 41 tried to implement it a few years ago, but failed. As time goes on, the numbers in the boxes grow rarer and rarer. The board becomes an empty snowfield in the...
Looks like they didn't make it.
A note in the bottom left corner of the chalkboard says, "See the prod schedule filament." The handwriting is only partly legible, but you can still make the full text reads, "Heat death of the universe is the new black." Another note says, "The biggest advancement in role-playing systems since the 30s. This old fireplace is covered in lines drawn in blue and red marker, the mesh spreading over the stone like blood vessels on alabaster skin. It looks good. The whole thing resembles Kadran mosaic tiles. Very pedantic. History classes, students with their textbooks open, studying the roots of our civilization. Radio frequencies, it seems. UKV 123.6, UKV 123, unclear. It looks like a cardiovascular system split into veins and capillaries. You think so? The web is comprised of radio stations, all lead back to one red heart, titled The Game Master Frequency. Looks like a surveillance program. They must have had massive airwidth. These things don't come cheap. Someone very important. The leader of a massive on-air game built by these people. A conductor for the hundreds of story threads that pass through the Game Master's frequency. Whoever decides to call in to a call-in station, a list of names under the stations suggests people across 6 Isolas would be playing. There's no way a little basement studio working here could pull...
My God. It's as if the less money they had, the more ambitious their project became. Exactly. This schedule, I know doom when I see it. The company was running out of funding.
Nothing. It's just lines on marble. And
okay. What do you think is going on with that computer, chalkboard, and fireplace? No, that's not it. I think...
like he's ready to lay out a fine theory.
It looks like one of those popular pen and paper role-playing games, only these people were trying to automate it. And by these people, I mean people in Sona's radio game company, Fortress Accident. Through call-in stations, none of the players have to be physically present. Anyone in the world can participate in the game, as long as they have a two-way radio. Then there's the Game Master frequency that listens in on the smaller call-in stations. I think that was supposed to coordinate the stories.
Coordinating so many games would take a whole switchboard of people. Possibly.
Not to my knowledge. They make automated games in Grad, Messina, Königstein. You know, places...
Not in Revachol West.
But I don't think anyone has attempted to create an inter-isolary game before. We just don't have the technology. Indeed, those Welkins are a dead giveaway. Role-playing people love that stuff. The world looks like a modified version of the We World board game, with hit death thrown.
Super cool. Someone should give them millions of real immediately. This game is too good to be left unfinished.
Indeed, it's ambitious and untethered from reality, but... It's too late for that, I'm afraid. Okay, let's keep moving.
¡Ey! Aquí está el refri. Pero primero vamos a investigar un poquitín.
thick layer of coal dust covers the furnace, coloring it pitch black.
Looks like it. Looks like an old central furnace used to heat the building. It's connected to the chimney. No one has used it in ages. No signs of any recent fire.
It's dark and grimy here. In the darkness you can hear chatter. The echo is so prominent.
What are you doing? Wait, really? We should investigate, see if someone's upstairs.
A hollow ring echoes through the furnace. Your toe hurts.
Idiota.
A lush layer of coal now covers your skin, sinking. Maybe you could paint something with this coal. Leave a cap. Still, it's good to have this dirt on you. Real men wear coal for makeup. Bent metal, broken glass. You are the destroyer, the bane of inanimate matter. Look, there's a discarded milk carton on the floor. Why don't you destroy that, too? You're right. That's definitely not the behavior of a destroyer at all. That's just... You see a terrifying ice bear with a strange compartment in its belly. The door is covered in... This ice bear is a hyper... The bear looks oddly realistic. This must be the fridge you were told about. Look inside. See if it's big enough for the corpse. A gust of freezing cold air rushes to greet you. The lieutenant takes a peek inside. His hand has found the holster of his gun.
Of course. A giant ice bear-shaped fridge. Just what we were looking for. Let's see what's inside.
The shelves are empty. All you see are crumpled ice cream wrappers with the brand name, Revachol Ice City. A handwritten note has been attached. But where's the filament memory? It's not here.
Someone must have taken it. What does the note say? It's certainly an eccentric choice, but it...
Your visual confirms. You could fit two.
Shall we go and get the body then? I'll take the head, you take the...
The two of you. Easily. The body is heavier than you expected and stinkier. It takes half an hour to get the then 10 more minutes to stuff it into the fridge. The lieutenant takes a step back.
Beautiful. A dead body in an ice bear fridge. This is some of the best police work I've ever done.
You have created an ice bear suck. You've definitely earned a drink after this. Perhaps even some pagan rites.
Talk of the ice bear sarcophagus must not leave this room.
He means it. He doesn't want to be the ice bear cop.
As impressive as the fridge itself is, this is a rather small victory. At least we've stopped the body from decomposing further. Now you can conduct another inspection.
Inside the icy realm of the ice bear fridge, the corpse stands slumped, waiting. Your arm reaches out and your eyes close, as if by their own volition. It's dark all around. His face, his cheeks, his nose, his fat, swollen lips. Like a rubber spider, your glove. The oral cavity is cold and moist. A ball-like tongue attaches itself to the base of the mouth, lolling around like a The tongue moves freely in the cavity. The mucus of the mouth is slippery, fragile, even through the latex. Can you feel it? You're so close. Rip a vision of black and dark red death, pried open by your hands and studded. You see a hole, barely visible to the human eye. It is swollen shut, almost an abrasion collar. This is what we're after.
Abrasion collar.
A black trickle of liquid runs into his throat. From your index fits right in there. A tight tunnel of flesh opens up. Tissue damage. Wide enough for 2 fingers. As you push both in, you reach through his mouth. Right, the basal ganglia feels clumpy. This man will never sleep again. Never wake. Your yellow fingers slide into the remains of the limbic system. There is no resistance. This is what he used to regulate his emotions with. The lieutenant answers with the sound of his pen. Your fingers are all the way in now, reaching toward the inside of his skull. The cavity goes further, but the entry wound isn't wide. All the muscles in your body harden. Time to enter him. The cartilage gives in with a crack, like some fruit. Just like that, your hand is in his sharp, serrated material. The pain is barely noticeable under the adrenaline rush. You pick the sharp metal bullet between your index and middle finger. With your face twisting from pain and concentration, all you need to do is just...
Good.
The inside of the head feels cold and smooth, like a glove, with a plop. Your hand emerges from the mouth, covered in blood, up to the...
A bullet.
The bullet falls in the bag, leaving a smattering of blood.
A non-caliber. Rifled. Some kind of brittle alloy. Fractured on impact. Of course, you deserve it. We need to add an item to the injury list. Injury number 4. Oval entry wound, high velocity. Temporary cavity in brain tissue. Small exit wound on the occiput. How does that? Opinion, fatal injury. And one last thing. We should amend injury number 3, ligament mark. Treatment. It's obvious the Hardy Boys tampered with it. I had my doubts. There were no signs of a struggle on his hands. No claw mark.
His brow furrows, while his eyes glaze over. The lieutenant looks regretful for not figuring this out before.
Yes, we should take a closer look at it. I am certain.
This little thing could reveal much about the weapon that shot it.
Oh, you really do. I am glad to hear you say that. Your room in the Whirling and Rise should come with a bathroom. Be sure to make use of it in the evening. We bag the corpse and carry him to the holding pen of my kinema. I can transport him to processing myself, but I will be gone for the rest of the day. Work on the case. Tend to personal matters. Try not to do anything too dangerous. An officer needs backup in a neighborhood like this. I'll leave that choice to you. And one more thing. Grit.
The word lingers in the air of the basement. Far away, ice cream makers are buzzing, and the sea wind blows outside. Detective.
After you bag the corpse, Lieutenant Kitsuragi will leave the party until tomorrow morning. You can do side tasks, and even the main case, but it might be more difficult. Plan his exit accordingly.
Shoot, Looney Rooney. I like it a lot, brother. This really is your finest. Come back later, Corpo. Amuse yourself.
You pocket the note and the little fridge magnets keeping it on the door. A friendly cartoon bear smiles back at you from a glossy cellophane wrapper. It looks nothing like the fridge, or the decomposing body in it. The paper still smells of vanilla and chocolate. Even under this stench, you can feel it.
Good question. It looks like an ice cream fridge. I know. What an unfortunate marketing choice. What is even worse, the bear is still costing them money to this day. The electricity bill must be catastrophic. On the other hand...
Indeed. Refrigerated meat is much better for...
All right. I will need a little help carrying him. You take the hands. I'll take...
Creo que hemos tenido suficiente por hoy. Nada más quiero cambiar las botellas. No sé cuántas tengo, 3 mugrosas botellas.
The tear machine stands in the corner. A sign says your bottles clunk into the... A small cabinet on the wall is filled with various medicine bottles, nasal sprays, and blister packs. They all bear the Saint Baptiste Pharmaceutics logo.
Okay, here. I hope Saint Baptiste makes you feel better or something.
Hay más gente con quien hablar, pero ya es noche.
This is not the cleanest bathtub in the world. That soap scum smell. It smells like life, at least compared to... The bathtub slowly fills with water. The water is only lukewarm, but still comforting, like amniotic fluid. A few beer cans are bobbing up and down. Now you are alone with your thoughts in the tub. But it's easier than your fingers grow pale and are covered with tiny whirls as the water cools. What are you doing? You're not some fat fish in a fucking aquarium. Time to get... You see the corpse. You can still... Then, houses along a narrow street. A video rental. The waterline recedes as you stand. You are cold now. Your clothes stick to your still moist skin. A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. In it, your face. a regular, clean-shaven police officer.
A ver, ya, suficiente por hoy. ¿Qué horas son? Uy, las 3:30. Pensé que íbamos a irnos más temprano.